ladies and gentlemen. You all look so beautiful this morning. My name is Denis Fred Okema, and I'm here to share with you my experience in life, and hopefully some of you get inspired and appreciate what you have or learn to help others do. The late Nelson Mandela, at the peak of the South African struggle for freedom, had this to say: when you want to see the future of this country, when you want to know what the future of this country holds, look into the eyes of the young people. And as I look into your eyes, I see the future of this country. I see the purpose of my standing before you here today. I am from Uganda. A small country in the eastern part of Africa. And in Uganda, I come from Gulu, a small village in the northern part of the country. When I was just 9 years old, my childhood was interrupted brutally by bad people. We experienced war for over 24 years. This war displaced 90% of the people I know, of my tribe mates, to internally displaced people's camps. I became a victim of this war when I was just 9 years old. One evening, the rebels came home and forced me and my uncle into captivity for 6 months. While in captivity, I saw some of the most horrible things that I never thought existed in this world. I remember walking for a very long distance as a child, more than I could, carrying luggages heavier than I could. I remember being beaten daily to break me. I remember more than 300 other children who were with me, and we all were forced to strip naked because that's the only way to identify prisoners. And for months, some of us who were able to carry the gun AK-47 were taken away, and through vigorous training to become child soldiers. Those of us who were too young to carry the heavy AK-47, which is the major weapon of assault, were constantly going around fetching firewood to cook and carrying luggages as a means of transportation. Days in, day out, I saw my friends get killed. I saw some people endure some of the most horrible torture that I can't describe to you. I saw a young girl, a picture that sticks in my mind of a young girl who was being tortured by using hot water being poured onto her every 15 minutes. The next morning, I saw another young man who was forced to dig a deep hole into the ground, and he was buried, leaving his neck only sticking outside. And many other experiences for 6 months. After 6 months, the desire to escape became just as strong as the fear of death, because I knew if I stayed, I was still going to die anyway, because I've seen 60% of the people I knew go into battle and never come back. That is when I decided that I need to escape, because whether I do or not, I'm going to die. But when I try to escape, and if I do successfully, there's a chance that I might have another shot at life. So sometimes the best things happen as a result of just 1 minute of courage. One day, the sun was hot. My commander wanted water to take a shower. He gave me an armed escort to go fetch water. That's when I knew my chance to escape had arrived. As he decided that he wanted to take a shower too, and asked me to do the same, because we don't know when we shall be able to access water or take a shower. We walk every day, non-stop. In my mind, I thought, this is my chance to escape. He's not going to run after me naked. And he has ammunition and a gun, a rifle, which is about 15 kilograms. In Uganda, we measure things in kilograms. And that is not going to help him trying to run after me. So I just knew that I had to run. I had to run as fast as I could, as long as I could. That means running my maximum speed, and as long as I can still run. That means I can only stop when I drop out of exhaustion. That is what I did, and I did it successfully. I spent the night in the bushes with families I didn't even know. And 2 days later, a church leader, a catechist, helped me find my home. And when I got home, my family didn't know what to do with me. They were afraid the rebels would come back to claim me, and that way the entire village would be killed. On the other side, because I've been for 6 months away from home, they don't know what I have turned into. Have I killed somebody? Did I do something bad? They are afraid. They think my life has changed. And to turn me into the government forces, they don't know the government forces might take me in prison to debrief me. And all this was happening. The person who could make the decision of what my next life would be was my mom. She took me away, and she knew the best thing for me was going to be to go back to school. Many child soldiers don't get a chance for formal education because they're so damaged mentally. They take orders from commanders who are military people. So when you go in class, it's difficult to take orders or instruction from a teacher who is a civilian. You can't settle because the things you've seen other students have not seen. So you find you grow up fast. You feel like what they do is childish. So child soldiers struggle. But you know, like most things in life, I think that was the best thing my mom did for me. Anyone who shows you the way to school is your best friend. Because education is so expensive. It's so important. That is why it can never be inherited. You have to work for it. And what you have is you, and nobody else can take it away from you or inherit it from you. It's individual. It's what gives us the ability to function. I struggled through my trauma in school, and I later made it to a school where destitute children and war-affected orphans went. Our school didn't have a room like what you have. We studied under a mango tree, in the mango tree shade. We didn't have books, so we write on the ground, on dirt. The good part of it is that you don't have homework to take home. But the negative part of it is that you also have nothing to read when you're at home, because all your work, it's either being rained on or the wind has swept more dirt and covered it. So education became a business you do on a daily basis. But like most things in life, when you choose your path and you're willing to work for it, you know that you always have to continue. And that is what we did. In this picture taken in 1993, that sounds like history, which it is. I am not young. This is me and my fellow students in front of our classroom. Our classroom was made of, the wall is made from mud and the roof is made from grass straws. The only student next to, the student standing next to a teacher on the extreme right, maybe left from the picture, the only guy making a fashion statement with a white belt is me. And that was before I joined high school, which was senior one in life. Unfortunately, at this point, I had already lost my mom. It was 3 years after I came back from captivity, she died. So my journey through education became my responsibility. With no one to force you to go to school, I could have taken the easy route of not going to school. I considered taking a small training to become a driver, and hopefully someone would hire me to drive their car, which is not an easy job. And then I realized, even as a driver, without education, you don't stand a chance in life. So I relentlessly started looking for a way to go to school. I went to about 5 different schools because every year, I get kicked out for not being able to pay my tuition. So 4 years of my secondary school, I went to 4 different schools. My intention was clear. I need to go to school. I need to learn. I need to be educated. It didn't matter how much it would cost me. It turned me into a debtor because I didn't pay my debts. I just went to school. When I'm kicked out, I enrolled myself in another school. Because I always made sure my grades are good, the next school was always willing to take me in. Until a good Samaritan came by the name of Abiti Modonkara. She was a refugee in the United States and lived in Philadelphia. She was babysitting for about 15 years. The money she raised, she used it to open a school for destitute children, which I went to in Uganda. And she met me and told me, I remember you as a very smart child. So if you still want to continue going to school, I'm going to give you tuition. Where you're going to eat, where you're going to sleep is your business. All I need to know is that you are in school every day. I made a promise to her that that's what I'm going to do. And as you know, every day you are a representative of yourself to the world. What you say, what you do, represents who you are to everybody who knows you or will know you. I knew this, so I knew that the only way to appreciate her is to always come home with a clean report card showing the best grades I can get. That is what happened until I went to the university, which is Makerere University in Kampala. I studied a bachelor's degree in development studies. It wasn't easy because I had tuition, but I didn't have where to sleep. So I became what they call at the university MUFA, which means Makerere University Flukers Association. You're a fluker because you officially is not supposed to be a resident in the university, but I had friends who was doctors, student doctors. They gave me the space between their beds as my accommodation, and I pay them 75,000 shillings, Ugandan shillings, which is about $30 for 4 months of my life in between their beds. What does that mean? It means I should be the last person to go to bed after they have gone to bed. You don't want to disturb your landlord. And I should be the first to get up every morning. But you know, the cool thing about this is, in the classroom, there is no answer from a broke man or a homeless man. In the classroom, you are the same. The answers are either right or wrong. So the classroom became my most comfortable place. I make sure I make a point in class that it doesn't matter where I come from. I can do better than everyone in the class. I became the guy who does homework for other students who are lazy, and they pay me to do it. What does that mean? It means I will do better than them, and they have to pay me for being better than they are. So that is how I fed myself. But I achieved even a bigger vision afterwards. I decided that since I can do your homework and be better than you have to support me to become your leader. So I campaigned to become the Students' Guild President. And this is a university of 34,000 students. And in 2003, in my second year, I campaigned to become the student leader, and I got that position. I was elected. And as a student leader, president in this university, the whole country recognizes you. What you say, people listen, because you are the educated ones. And from there, my childhood experience came to me. I became a fighter for justice. I became critical of government. I became a student activist. I became a Pan-African activist. I fought injustice everywhere I could see it. And as living in a non-democratic country like Uganda, where freedom of speech is sanctioned, the institutions that should support democracy are non-functional, and we've had a president who has been in power for the last 24 years. He hates everybody who is critical of his policies. His mission is to stay in power, but what does it mean for a young leader like me? That means I have no chance to lead the country. So what do? I have to fight for what is right. This fight became my personal journey. I worked for peace. I had a lot of information. So when I stood to become a member of parliament in my district, which is an equivalent of a senator in this country, the government was afraid of the kind of brain that I had turned into. They hated everything I say to the people on TV and on radios, because evil people love ignorant people, because ignorant people don't question information. They're not like you who have been to school. You are skeptical because you have an open mind. You question information. You digest it. And that way, the government thought the best way to deal with me was to take my life. And on the 26th after Christmas, in my home where I lived with my brother, they sent assassins to come kill me. I was tired from a political rally, and When they started knocking on the doors, I could not hear, I was asleep. So my brother, who looks just like me, the biological father of the baby you now see I call my son, got out of the house to see who was coming. They thought they might be my campaign agents with problems. They killed him for mistaken identity. They thought they were killing me. So I adopted his son, who is now my son. I thought to myself, do I run or continue fighting? I thought, if I run, I will live to fight another day. So why don't I complete the fight? But I also thought, this young man, who was a baby then, his future depends on the decision I make. So families in the United States whom I have met through my work decided that they would help me get out of the country into safety and come to this country. On the 4th of October 2011, I came to this country with $5 in my pocket. I carried nothing, as you saw in the video. I only carried what I had, my education, which nobody could take from me. And I have a never-ending desire to be educated, because I know it's the only thing that changed me from the child soldier who was traumatized to the man standing in front of you. It's the only thing that took me to over 10 different countries in Europe and over 8 different states in the United States, sharing ideas with people. When you have education, people respect what you say. Because if you have a point, something smart to say, you don't need to yell. People will recognize and pay attention. Education has led me here. It's given me the language that has helped me today communicate with you. And when I look back all the time, I'm so grateful to the person who showed me the way to school, and that was my mother. She told me, Dennis, you have nothing. I am an elementary school teacher. I don't have an account for you to inherit. So whatever you do in life is going to be your own effort. I can only support you to go to school and make your own life. That became my mission too. And I'm grateful that the degree of happiness that I enjoy today has been the fruit of education. So any chance I get to share this experience with young people who have the promise to lead this country or this world even when I'm gone, I take it without thinking twice. It's the reason I've been to 25 different high schools in this country and colleges and universities and to United Nations to speak about the benefit of education. When I learned about Cristo Rey, I went on site, read about it. It is the best thing that happened to this city. And you should count yourself to be very lucky people for being chosen to be the people who bear the flag for this good initiative. Don't disappoint us, the people who believe in you. When you choose your path in life, to dream is where it starts. But when you dream, it comes with the responsibility to be committed to achieve your dream. And this responsibility requires hard work. Nobody should say it's going to be easy. Anything on earth easy amounts to nothing. But anything you work hard for will turn into something. I have a long story. I thought I should share with you this morning. I'm sure at this point you have questions for me. and I should give you the chance to ask me these questions. We could sit here and talk for the whole day and only ask the chair, but I'm not going to do that to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're so kind. Yeah, I forgot to mention where I am now. I'm still a student. I am in Chestnut Hill College studying a Master's of Science in Administration of Human Services. I will be graduating in May 10th. And I have A's in all the 16 courses I took.